One thing too is, like, when I was getting into networking, I was like, I don't want to schmooze. That's not part of who I am. No, like, I'm not a schmoozer. But really, when somebody comes out and they actually try networking, they might find that that's something they love, because I believe humans are built and created for relationship. And you don't have to schmooze necessarily, but you're going to find people that you enjoy being around. And like you said, when you have your meeting on Thursday, people aren't running out the door as soon as it's over, because humans want to connect.
Be Nice Individuals Podcast.
Hey folks, this is Thaddeus on the Be Nice Individuals Podcast, which is hosted here at the Flagler Voice Studio. We have a very special networking group in studio today. It's the Palm Coast Business Professionals. They have a really strong foundation here in the community. They've been around for a while, and they're here to tell you about it and how it can enhance your business. Joshua and Chris, how are you guys doing today?
Doing well, sir. Thank you for having us.
Excellent.
Yeah. Now, tell me really what the Palm Coast Business Professionals is, as if I had no idea. So that's the task. For somebody who doesn't know, tell them what it is.
For me, it has been a hub that I get to return to every week and connect with other people who are on the same mission as me, which is to provide quality service to Palm Coast. And we each get to do it in a different way, but I look at it like a diamond, many different facets. Mm-hmm. Whether we have someone providing Be Active mobility, someone providing the means for someone to grow a small business, someone who's cleaning a home, it all boils down to service. And I've always valued who I bump elbows with. I had a mentor many years ago tell me that you're a product of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
They made a book about that, didn't they?
I believe so.
Yeah.
And I should have read that a little earlier, because when I first heard that, it scared me stiff.
Yeah.
But I try to apply that now, and once a week I get to meet with some very focused, disciplined leaders in our community who are committed to being a part of the community.
Yeah. And I find that when an entrepreneur or any type of business, when they're all alone by themselves, they can feel like they're doing everything they should. But when they are with other business owners, now they're going to be challenged. Mm-hmm. And now you can see kind of, okay, maybe I'm slacking off. So you need that accountability. And I imagine that that's kind of one of the things that is present there when you guys meet.
Absolutely. We had a presentation last week from a long-standing member, Jack Corbett, realtor. And I love, as a chiropractor, I love to provide a very trusting experience. I try to develop trust. Mm-hmm. And with trust, I could do a lot with the patient's health. Yeah. And hearing him speak about the trust he's establishing in his clients as they find a new home, as they sell a home, I was able to get a glimpse, a different perspective. And it opened up my mind, and I was able to go into work later that day with an updated perspective on what it is to build trust. Yeah. And so that diversity of the fields, I think, is a major strength.
Yeah, absolutely. And Chris, let's have you jump in here. I don't want you sitting over there by the side. Feel free to jump in at any point. No, I know you have definitely some things to say.
Well, yeah, Josh does a great job.
Yeah.
And, when you talk about an elevator speech for what Palm Coast Business Professionals is or are, we are a networking group, but we're the oldest group in Palm Coast, Flagler County.
Oh, wow.
It's over 20 years.
That's a long time.
It is. It's a very long time. And the well-established members and the new growth we've had recently with the expansion in Palm Coast, we all know that the thousands and tens of thousands of folks that are moving into our community are helping businesses like mine and Josh's grow.
Right.
Palm Coast Business Professionals help lead you into that different areas. We have different speakers from the community. We each talk about our own businesses for cross referrals and networking. And Thaddeus, as you said it best, the expertise in a group, the one-on-one sessions you have where you can share an idea, you can share a concept, you can share something from your past experience that benefits that other business owner is tremendous. The largest value, I think, is more so than the referrals, because business is always good, keeps keeps it ringing the cash register, never hurts.
Yeah.
But I think one of the true benefits for myself is all of the different businesses working with the other experts, doing business together, and then separately learning from how they do business.
Yeah.
I've been in business for a number of years. We won't say how many because I started when I was 10.
Of course.
But
of course.
over those years, you pick up expertise, and some of which you can share. But the benefits of just having a room full of business owners who have been through smaller issues that you haven't experienced in your life, that expertise is invaluable. One of the other things we do for each other is we advertise everyone's businesses. As we know, I own a durable medical equipment company.
Mm-hmm.
So every new patient packet that goes out contains one of our brochures. And we educate the consumer on, here's a list of trusted businesses. They're bonded, insured, licensed, and vetted. Mm-hmm. And those folks are who you can call on and know that I'm comfortable giving them a referral.
Yeah.
Because they're going to stand behind that. And right now we've got close to 40 members, I believe.
Yes.
And we're looking for more. So if you're listening to this broadcast, come apply. Come be part of the group. You're allowed to come in, for a meeting with no cost, and you get an application, and you come back a second time to determine whether it's really for you and your business, and is it going to be part of your ability to grow. And then you join. And of course, you miss a meeting so we can talk about you behind your back.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely important. Now, you guys both, were you part of any networking group when you first started your business?
I was not. Years ago, with my former company I worked for, we had a healthcare professionals business networking group here in Palm Coast, and COVID killed it. We had one in Daytona. COVID killed it. So now, going and I just opened my business a year and a half ago, so I'm brand new as a sole proprietor.
Sure. Yeah.
So no, I was not. How about you, Josh?
I got to graduate December of 2019. I hung my shingle outside of Cleveland, Ohio, and 2 weeks later, lockdowns went into effect. So my initial experience in practice was very isolated, and I'm thankful for that because I hated it. And the first opportunity I had to be a part of a community was with Palm Coast Business Professionals. Now, fortunately, in Palm Coast, networking is very much a part of the professional atmosphere, and I'm thankful for that. And I agree with Chris that PCBP is and has been leading the charge in that. And I think that's a comment on culture today. I think people like being a part of things. There's strength in numbers. And one thing I like about having every member vetted and held to a higher and higher standard, just through passive mentorship, active mentorship, is that we're heading in the same direction. There's a feeling of momentum in the group.
Yeah, absolutely. And so you guys had not had any networking experience prior to, or not prior to, but when you started your business. So you have a kind of a before and after. So can you guys speak to how Palm Coast Business Professionals has actually impacted your business?
I'll go out on a limb here. I like to have conversations with myself all the time. My father said, go look at yourself in the mirror. So I learned to have conversations with myself at an early age.
Yeah.
And eventually that led to a lot of journaling. And I love doing journaling prompts, and I love getting things on the page. But again, it's a great practice.
Yeah.
Yet it was a little isolating.
Sure.
So the before and after for me was, instead of thinking, how am I going to even start a business through COVID, to now every week seeing others who are making it happen. And then that unlocks something in my mind. I'm like, oh, this is possible. And that doesn't happen all at once. I wish it did. Yet every week when I get to go, it unlocks it. We're doing this. We're doing this. And as the economy gets to take a turn, I think it's just a matter of momentum.
Yeah, absolutely.
As you said, I wasn't part of anything when I started up because my previous company was my previous job. I was there 14 years, was more statewide and regional versus local. So immediately when I opened, I joined Palm Coast Business Professionals to do that networking, to help get the sales, referrals, awareness. You do many other things. There's a lot of great groups that meet throughout the week here in Palm Coast, and they're all wonderful. We just think we're better.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with having that confidence going out there. Because obviously, if you didn't think you were better, you wouldn't be part of that networking group. So I can truly appreciate that.
We produce results.
Yeah. Absolutely. I love that. So you can see, though, coming from your other company, where you didn't do any networking, I presume, other than like...
No, we did.
You did?
I did, but
Okay.
you know...
but it's different.
Prior to COVID, and it's different because it was on a more regional basis.
Right.
Versus this is homegrown, grassroots, local Palm Coast, Flagler County business. Doesn't mean we don't do business outside of Flagler County.
Right.
You know, I'm a regional, I'm licensed statewide, and I'm Medicare certified for the entire southeast of the country. But the core root of the business is here in Palm Coast.
Yeah.
So you've got to invest into the community.
Absolutely.
And other businesses that, you know, are different but have advantages from a referral standpoint and from a credentialing and credibility.
Yeah.
It's who you associate with. As Josh said, you want to know who you are, look at your 5 closest friends and we'll identify you.
Yeah. That can be really good, and it can be really bad at the same time. It like also just having friends who are at a different place in your life.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I believe it's important to have one hand reached out with humility to learn, and another hand reached out to teach and to help others grow. And I believe our group has 2 products, aside from an awesome holiday party every year.
That it does.
And one product is sweet, and the other one's a little more bittersweet. The sweetness is having members who have been with us for 20 years. They come through, they find what works, and I'm getting into that phase now after 4 years of being a member, where I can't imagine not having a Thursday morning to hone in and almost into a dojo of sorts of, okay, how am I going to be the best business owner that I can be? My patients hope that I continue my education, learn the best techniques, diagnostic, therapeutics, but am I putting in the time to, as iron sharpens iron? And so lasting members, that's an amazing product that you'd say we provide. And the other one's a little more bittersweet, and that's when someone gets so busy, Thursday mornings just don't make sense anymore. And at that point, it's like, great, we're going to miss you. And actually, within the past year, we've had handful of members come back who are members maybe 10, 15 years ago, who had that success, grew, were able to reallocate their time appropriately. And then when they were ready to step back into networking, they have, and some of those members have actually stepped up as leaders in the group.
That's awesome.
So keeping those doors open and I keep coming back to momentum. That's my favorite word lately. Just making sure, we're heading in the right direction, and that direction is growth, but also connection. Part of the health of the group is after we close, it's 8:30 in the morning, we're done, wish everyone a good week. No one's really running for the door.
That's nice.
There's this growing culture almost of, we're going to spend time here because the connections we make are fruitful. And I, as current director of the group, and as Chris is stepping up as the director in 2025.
Oh, congratulations.
I love to see it, because I'm always trying to keep my finger on the pulse. How's the group actually doing? And growing in members is great. Being able to give back to the community is great. But when I see folks willingly and easily spending the time to connect and build connections, fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things I had no background in prior to coming to Florida, I had no background in networking. I just heard this multiple times in the last week. What is not taught in school? Networking. And even in business classes, a person might take in college. And they might teach you how to do some accounting and stuff, but they don't teach you that the most important part of business and being successful is really your network. What do you guys think about that?
Well, people sell to people.
Yeah.
And that's, you're always in sales. Whether you're operational or clinician in our case is you're always representing your business, and you're always selling and networking, and the most powerful thing you can do is learn how to network. I read a book on it in my 30s, so I was a late bloomer, if you will. And I didn't realize that I had been networking and socializing and doing these things, some of the practices, the whole time, but refining that skill set and targeting it and making sure that it's useful time spent that is productive and producing results. That's something that we hone in on. It's nice to chit chat, but we're all business. We start at 7:30 in the morning. We are currently meeting over at Market Street, so come join us. But we start at 7:30. We wrap up at 8:30, and it's a very regimented meeting structure so that it is productive. And then afterwards, you have your social time where you can meet new members. You can have conversations with them. Make appointments, do one-on-one. Right afterwards, if you wanted to take time, spend 15 minutes over coffee. It's very productive, and it's very powerful, as you said, because they don't teach it.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing too is, like, when I was getting into networking, I was like, I don't want to schmooze. That's not part of who I am. No, like, I'm not a schmoozer. But really, when somebody comes out and they actually try networking, they might find that that's something they love, because I believe humans are built and created for relationship. And you don't have to schmooze necessarily, but you're going to find people that you enjoy being around. And like you said, when you have your meeting on Thursday, people aren't running out the door as soon as it's over, because humans want to connect. Yeah. So again, tell us the location, the times of all that, and who they can get in contact with, say they have questions.
Wonderful. Market Street Memory Care, right in Palm Coast. We meet every Thursday morning at 7:30 a.m. I would recommend following us on Facebook because we do have after-hour events every couple months as well, so we could spend some time together when we're not necessarily highly caffeinated.
Sure.
Another chance to connect. And those after-hour events are going to be open to everyone.
That's nice.
We're very exclusive with our categories in the group, yet the after-hour events are open to everyone. And so, 7:30 a.m. every Thursday morning at Market Street Memory Care. And for reaching out, you can just show up to the meeting or send an email to hello@palmcoastbusinessprofessionals.com.
Awesome. And guys, if you have need of a chiropractor, or if you have need of any, what did you call mobility equipment or anything like that? So think CPAP, scooters, think beds, anything like that. Make sure you reach out to these individuals so that you can get those needs taken care of. But also make sure you join them on Thursdays at 7:30 in the morning. It's going to be at the Memory Care, which is right next to the hospital here in Palm Coast. And get there. They have a nice open space. Make sure you show up to help others. The one thing that I kind of had an issue with, having no background in networking, when I showed up to my first networking group, I was there as a card dealer. And if you've ever been to a networking event and you've seen that person, be gracious to them, but the person just wants to give out everybody a card. Here, you get a card. I was a card dealer. But come to this event, realize you're going to be making long-term connections, and you're not necessarily there just to sell somebody right there or whatever. You're there to make these long-term connections, and that's really what's going to propel your business forward. But again, this has been Thaddeus, Joshua, and Chris on the Be Nice Individualist podcast, which is hosted here at the Flagler Voice Podcast Studio. And again, folks, this is your space. This is your space where you can come in here, have your voice amplified at our studio. If you have a business, you have ideas, perfect. We have a space for you. Say you're a political candidate, wants to come in here, and you want to reach out directly to your constituents, fantastic. We could do a live show. We have call-in features here where we can make it completely seamless. We can take calls on the air. It'd be fantastic. Waiting for you, political people out there, to reach out to me, make that happen. Don't be scared. we'll make it happen. So anyway, again, this has been Thaddeus on the Be Nice Individuals podcast. We'll see you next time.